crypto market just bounced back hard. But yeah, you do see two sides of the pictures, gainers and losers. And you do understand the fact that the losing side is being hammered by the SEC. Now, just the top three, others are normal. 2 to 3% is actually okay. Some of them are weakly in green and they are holding on and they are starting to trend higher. What matters here is looking at the assets where more and more volume is entering back, and that's where you watch XRP. That's where you see the price action is becoming interesting in XRP. With this candle close, say the daily, there is no going back. I mean, look at this. If you actually see this hammer last time, it came into this region, it told us a story. What's that? Buyers are interested to buy this asset inside this range. Great. Now you come back again, testing that strength of the buyers. What happens? They come back hard. And if you actually just zoom in, what do you see? The price action here shows us the last day of bears have been invalidated. So the bulls look really strong. Now what may happen during this particular day when it's playing out on an intraday level, right? We may actually see some fake outs, meaning now that we saw that the bulls are trying to push the market higher, you may actually see some small volume to the downside and then a break back to the upside. That can be another level of fake out. Why? You're looking at the short-term MACD, it's turning bullish. One of the major reasons why I think XRP holders will be the top gainers in this market cycle is because if we actually look at the price action and then look back in history, understanding where all these information actually comes from, the Fed actually gave you the idea of how things are going to move. When you're looking at not only the fintech side of things, but also a huge chunk of it looking at the clearing payments. That's actually a huge stuff. Healthy competition for clearing and settling instant payments. So it's not just about the existing banks, but it's also about the fintechs. And then you actually come on to the BIS documents. We've went through this extensively before. But look at these. You actually see how things are evolving. Back then when they gave you the idea that this is exactly what's about to happen, a lot of people did not believe it. Right now, you don't have a choice. The G20, G30, everyone is on board and they are all talking about this. And why is that really important for those who are holding on to XRP? If you have spent your time learning, reading, understanding what this actually means, we actually saw all this, read this, share our perspective when this was all published. And that's one of the reasons why we actually get to understand what the hell is happening. Why? Look at these individuals. Do you recognize them? I mean, it's really important. Yeah, that's the fundamental side. What does that actually mean for the technical side of things? The interesting part, right? The price action. I posted this chart earlier saying, okay, guys, look at this. I think we are at a support. We want to see whether buyers come in at this range, right? And what happens after that? Boom. You get the buyers coming in, it bounces back up. So anticipating the price action is something important in technicals. And that's done by what? Experience in the market. You do understand, like, okay, at certain levels, the psychology of masses and the psychology of these whales, because you're bullish in the macro trend, right? And then you get a lot of negative news in which some of these projects are getting hammered. But the fundamentally strong projects, they are about to pop. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. When you actually learn through all this, you do understand the fact that there is no going back. Something changed in the price action because a lot of people understand the exact same facts because they don't change. It's already being built, the pipelines are laid, the infrastructure is ready for mass adoption. So on that note, if you haven't hit that like button, please do consider doing that. And thank you for all those guys who have been smashing that like button. Now, Once we jump back on to the price action side of things, it's really interesting to watch how things are evolving, especially when you actually zoom in to see what's happening right now. It actually creates some level of interest, showing us that, okay, that level has been interesting. Buyers are trying to enter into that territory. Great, it looks good, because when you go on a higher time frame structure, it shows you that we are actually forming a couple of engulfing candles on the bullish side of things. Now, why is that so important? Because when you actually go back on a macro chart, what you're observing is that the price action is trending higher, one, and it's not just it's trending higher, it's getting huge interest from the market. But yes, when you actually go on the crypto Twitter, you do see a lot of these guys trying to FUD the market, right? You do understand the macro has been changing, and right now there is a huge shift in the market with what's happening in the bond market side of things. When you actually see a government like US and their credit rating being kicked down, that's a concern. And when you go through this now, if you are looking through all these perspectives and you don't follow me in Twitter, you can consider doing that. That would give you almost all news on the time. Now, when you actually look through this, you actually get a lot of different understanding. Yes, people are trying to FUD the market about XRP and the court ruling with another court's ruling about the secondary market data, which is entirely different, because in our court case, the judge did not say about the secondary market for all the crypto assets. What she said was about XRP as an asset. XRP in itself is not an investment contract. This is exactly what she stated, which means, until there is something coming out against it, the rule of the land is this asset is not a security. And one of the best thing to understand here is that now that SEC just got another sword to cut crypto in different pieces, XRP stands out. Why? They don't have to go appealing XRP case because they may get cut by the same sword. Whereas they can just use this judge's idea and say that these assets are sold as a security even in the secondary markets, because the other one was about XRP. Now that's where the Ripple test or the XRP test may come into picture, but that's future. And right now we don't have an idea of how it would look like in that case, but we do understand the fact that this is extremely bullish. Wait and see. If you actually zoom a little bit out, what do you see in the Bitcoin side of things? You're watching that the price action is doing something. What is it? Ask yourself, what do you actually see here? Like, if I'm looking at the price action, I would actually put the argument saying like, okay, this seems like an interesting trend line. We talked about this before, and it is interesting to see that the price action come close to that and say, let me go back higher, test the resistance. So the previous support level, which is now acting as a resistance, that's this particular range. So if we see a break of this level, things change. And it's on a daily chart where you're watching an engulfing candle, and not just an engulfing candle, but erasing all these days of price activity, which actually is super interesting to watch, because when you actually see the price action from 25 to this day has been erased when the price action was about to close the daily, that shows you the option side of things, the future side of things. The big guys, the whales, they do care about the monthly close. They do care about the weekly close. These guys actually manipulate the market as much as possible. That's one of the primary reasons why we go through the assets in detail on the macro, giving you guys narrative of these are about to blow off, right? We actually went through a lot of assets and told you guys on the group that watch these assets. And right now, if you go on the market looking at them, some of those are doing extremely well. I mean, if you actually look for the last 3 months and how these assets have been riding up when the entire market is down, that shows you how the market is reacting. Then you go look at the breakouts, then you go look at the volume. You do see something is popping up. Some of these assets are about to pop. In a week or two, once we hit our targets, I would be sharing those here. But if you are interested in watching them before they actually pop, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. Now, jumping back into the price action side of things. Look at this. On a weekly, when you actually watch all this happening and you're saying, okay, the weekly MACD is trying to cross to the downside. Agreed. Agreed. In that sense, if you stick only with the weekly chart, you can say, okay, this move can be a fake out where the buyers can be trapped. Agreed. 100%. But then you actually move on to a weekly chart and you look at this and say, nah. The higher time frame structure agrees a lot more with the bullish narrative, which actually still looks massively bullish, saying, I'm about to pop through the roof. Think about this for a moment. You reach this range and you slowed down. And that slowdown was not a day or two. It did take patience to say, okay, we are holding on to this particular range from last 150 days. That's something big. Now, literally, that's something big. You holding on to that particular level for like 5 months is important. Why? You go back in history and you see things happening, right? You actually see the price reaching higher, consolidating in one particular level, and then deciding that, I'm going up. Why? Because on a monthly, you're still above the moving average. The 21-day EMA shows you, I'm holding on to that level. You had a fake out, agreed, but that was erased with an engulfing candle, and that engulfing candle is still valid. You come back into the market and you look at this level, that's right now acting as a support. So if you actually look at it, zoomed in, you can say, okay, that does make some sense. The monthly candle closed at the exact same level. Why is that important? Because last time at a resistance level, it was the similar story. And as soon as you broke that, you popped. So the price action moved from $23,000 to $31,000. Now take that analysis part and look at XRP. On a monthly, it's still showing you that the price action is extremely bullish. For one, you look at the MACD and say that's crossing higher. For two, you say the RSI is looking extremely bullish on a monthly. Now, yes, you have to slowly zoom in to the weekly, to the daily, and to the micro levels. Agreed. But what do these price action actually show you? Like, one of the easiest thing to look at is, say, when you actually have one candle popping through the roof and 3 other candles trying to go down, but, it's taking a lot more effort from the bear side to push the price lower, but still you see on a micro level that buyers are coming back in whenever they are trying to push the price lower. So it does make sense to say like, okay, market is heavily interested in this asset. Those who really want to actually push the price lower, they would still try to do that for sure. They don't really want you to be a millionaire for sure. But it's up to you and me to understand the fact that the market has changed. On a weekly, on a monthly, on a macro charts, things change substantially. And that change right now highlight you towards a macro run up. If you look at the XRP price action on the macro side and you agree on this perspective, that's like, okay, that's like a Banana Republic price popping through the roof, people getting heart attack, all those things. But remember this, right now, when you see micro breakouts, you do see some level of price action, some level of movement, which is actually healthy. Now, say that kind of a breakout and run up came after this price breakout. Great. So what do you think will happen when the price action actually happens to run around and break this particular level? That has been a level which you should be watching from an extended period of time. So if the price action is breaking this particular pattern, that means the macro run up is starting. Great, we understand that. But the pop through that run up would be 5, 15, 10x. Now it depends, like when you actually look at the total days, it's been like 2,000 days since we've been inside that particular price zone. And you see a 15, 16x run up after the breakout. So that kind of creates an extensive saying like, okay, we are looking for like $16 to $18, $20 range of pop in XRP for just that pattern. That's extremely important. Why? The same thing, if you say, okay, I do think that's the pattern available in the market, but I think, now if that's me, I would say, okay, I think there is still another probability in the market which suggests that this pattern may have a higher odds, suggesting you that, okay, this can be a rounded bottom or this can be a cup and handle pattern which broke to the upside. Think about this. We've talked about the exact same thing all the way from May, June, November 2021 to this day. And you see, the issue is back then it's hard to anticipate that this is what we are going to see. But right now, when you look back, you can actually watch that, yeah, that's exactly what happened in the price action, which means now you get an advantage. What is that? You understand the fact that the market is about to blow off and your measured moves are clear. So for you to take profits, yeah, that's one thing. The major update would be how the price action behaves, because when it actually reaches a top, it does show you that I'm slowing down before a huge fall. It does show you I'm slowing down before a huge fall. So if you understand that and take profits, it's going to be healthy. It's going to be completely healthy because the market is showing you some of these assets are ready to ride a huge wave, and the fundamentals of these are going to bring extremely big pot of money into the market that will attract it. And if you actually look for XRP right now, you do understand it's not just the use cases. It's also becoming an asset which is the only asset with legal clarity in US, which means big pots of money will jump in. For one reason, it's negative because they're going to manipulate the market as much as possible to shake you and me out. But once you have been through all these research, you're not just the hyping guy looking for $10,000 XRP. That means you know the reality of it. You know what you're holding. That means you are going to take the profits close to the top, if not at the extreme top. So that being said, if you haven't hit that like button, please do consider doing that. That actually supports the channel a lot. And I'm happy to watch all these likes flying through 500, 600, 700, 800 likes from you guys. And I'm really thankful for that. And if you're actually interested in knowing which crypto is doing what and where the opportunity lies for the medium term, the macro, where these 5, 10, 15x lies, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. Things will be different in 2-3 months. Regret is something we really don't want, but it's not about missing the opportunity. It's about seizing the opportunity. That should be the important point from this day. So guys, that's it for today. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.